Okay, hello and good morning. Welcome back. Well, look here, we have name, date, and period, and today is April 1st, and we're in week 4-3. If you didn't turn in your homework, you still have tonight, and let's see what else. Here we go. So to change this to a decimal, you take your top number, divide it by your bottom number, and when you do that, you get 0.75. To change it to a percent, you're going to use this little chart here, and you're going to go always two places. So it's 75%. Okay? 3 out of 4 is 75%. On this next one, you're going to go the other way. It's a percent. I know I see a decimal, but it's a percent, so you're going to go this way two places. So it's going to be 0.0625. Now, if you look here, to write it as a fraction, you're going to put 625 over 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. So put a 1 and put 4 zeros. Remember, this position is tenth, hundredth, thousand, and 10,000. There's no ones on this side. Today we're talking about the quadratic equation. Copy this down. Now you need to know this for your test this weekend. Okay? So test number 1 is this weekend, and you have to be able to do the quadratic formula, and there it is. So write it down and memorize it. Okay, so look here. This one right here, the quadratic formula is in this form. ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Copy that down. So if you look here, you have the x squared. Check. You don't have the x. So put plus 0x. The c stands for the constant, which is -9. Okay, so we have the a, which is a 1. So a, b, and c. Any questions about how to identify those? Okay, now, to work this, and I got to make this a little smaller, what you're going to do is substitute these numbers. So, refocus this. Okay, so we're going to substitute these numbers, and this is how I want you to do it. So on today's worksheet, I want you to put x equals negative b, put parentheses, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c, all divided by 2 times a. Okay, now all you do is substitute your numbers in there and work it out. So b is 0. So there it is. A. So put a 0 here and here. Minus 4 times a times c, all divided by 2 times a. So -0 is just 0. And 0 squared is just 0. So you're going to have plus or minus the square root. A negative times a negative makes that a positive. And then 4 times 9 is going to give you 36. 2 times 1 is 2. The square root of 36 is 6 divided by 2. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. So your answer is going to be a plus 3 and a minus 3. You have two answers because it is a quadratic. Okay? Now you might say, well, what does that mean? Well, this is really a parabola. Okay? And this parabola is going to be facing up, and it's going to hit at 3, and it's going to hit at -3. We don't know how low it goes. So this point right here is in question. But we do know the x's, where it hits the x-axis. And that's what we just found. Okay? Let's try another one. Look at this one here. If you can divide all the numbers, you can reduce it, okay? And speaking of reducing, back to the bell work, up here, this should have been reduced by 5. And you have to keep reducing so you can't reduce anymore. Anyhow, on this one, they are all divisible by 3. So you're going to divide everything by 3 to make it easier. This cancels. So you get e squared plus e. 3 goes into 3 once. 3 goes into 6 2. 3 goes into 0 0 times. So now you have your a, your b, and your c. So a is 1, b is 1, and c is negative 12, and then you plug it into the formula. So let's try that one. So put x equals negative b. Again, I want parentheses, okay? If I don't see parentheses, you will lose points, because it's going to help you. So put your b here. Your b is 1, so b and b, and then a and c, and then a. Negative 1 is just negative 1. 1 times 1 is 1. A negative times a negative is a positive. That's 48. And then 2 times 1 is 2. This becomes 49. And why do I like 49? I like 49 because the square root of 49 is 7. So you're going to get negative 1 plus 7, right? Right here, plus, divided by 2. And then you're going to get negative 1 minus 7 divided by 2. So this becomes 7 minus 1 is 6, divided by 2 is 3. This is a negative 8 divided by 2, which is a negative 4. And those are your answers. And that's how you do it. Okay, now you may have some trouble on today's worksheet. And if you do, I want you to ask, okay? So here, I want you to do the front side. Now you might say, well, Mr. Toops, I'm not sure about some of these. And that's fair. And I'll show you which ones, okay? I guess I could just give you some of the easy ones right now. And maybe that's what I'll do. Let me think here a minute. Okay, so when you get to number 10, for example, you got to do FOIL. You got to take this binomial and square it. Now, do you remember how to do FOIL? If you don't, then obviously you can't work this problem. 5 times 5 is 25a squared. This times this is a negative 5a. This times this is a negative 5a. And a negative times a negative makes that a positive 1. And then here, you're going to get 25a squared minus 10a, right here. And then you're going to move the 9 over, and that becomes a negative 9. And you get 0 here. So that becomes a negative 8. You can't reduce this. This is your A, this is your B, this is your C. And I do want to see your calculator. If you don't have a calculator, you will lose points, okay? Because you need it. Here's the second side. And today I'm just going to have you do the front, I guess. We'll see. All right, so let's go on. Let's turn our attention now to college algebra here. So for college algebra, on this first one, you got to graph it. Well, let me think about this. We've got to get y by itself. So you're going to move the 3x over. That becomes a negative. Then you're going to divide by 4. And when you divide by 4, you get y is less than negative 3 over 4x plus 3. Okay? Once you get to this point, it's broken. You're going to go up 3, put a dot, that's your y-intercept. Then you're going to go down 3, and then to the right, 4, and this one's broken. And then you got to use a test point. I'm going to use 0, 0. So if I put 0 here and 0 here, I get 0 is less than 12, and that's true. So I'm going to color this side. Okay, watch again. This one is x is greater than 0. Well, this would be x is equal to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So for this second one, the x is actually the y-axis. Now, greater than would be this way. And you can see where they're starting to overlap. This is y is greater than 0. This would be y is equal to 5. Let's see if this is focused. Y is equal to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So if it says y, it looks like the x. So this one is going to be this. I'm going to make it fuzzy, and then solid, or something. Okay? This is greater, so this is going up. So where they overlap is right here in this little triangle. Okay? All right, let's talk about this one, substitution. In order to do substitution, you got to first, well, what I would do is clear my denominator. So I would multiply by 5 to get rid of these. So I'm going to get negative 5x plus y is equal to 3. Here I'm going to multiply by 5 because you don't want to work with fractions. Negative 5x plus y is equal to negative 4. They're almost the same. So I'm going to take one of these, let's say this one, and I'm going to move this over. So I'm going to get y is equal to 5x plus 3. And then I'm going to substitute for my y. So I'm going to get negative 5x, and then negative 5x plus, scratch that out, plus 5x plus 3 is equal to negative 4. So here these cancel. So I get 3 is equal to negative 4. This one is no solution. These lines are parallel. This is false. 3 does not equal negative 4. So if you graph them on your graphing calculator, you'll see they don't intersect. But the main point here is, number one, you got to clear your denominator to make it easier. Then you have to solve for one of the variables and then substitute and then work it out. Okay? Today's work is right here. We're reviewing. You do have a test this weekend. Test number 1 this weekend. All right. Have a good morning.